Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our stream. We are here. We are back. We are doing some more outside Waterdeep. We're actually Baldur's Deep now, and we're continuing on with our thing that is very exciting and fun. Shut up, Jess. Mrs. Mrs. Nick is a bitch in the background.
But did it get the hand highlight Vanna style or
Yeah.
Sorry, there we go.
yeah?
There's a reason I'm really bad at blow drying my own hair and shit. Cause coordination. What is it?
Yeah, exactly. But
Is that your way of passing it on to me, Nick?
No, because I haven't even introduced myself. I am. I play.
And
I
that
am Nick.
fast we're off the rails.
I know. I'm Nick, and I play Droomstick Harry Pelt. I am a sorry, a Minotaur fighter. Very, very hairy, very muscular, and I will see to it that Oliver does not surpass me in power. Come level 10. Uh, very.
Level up?
I'm,
Are we
I'm,
leveling
I,
up?
I'm 1 HP behind you right now that I've removed the aid that we got
Don't.
last time. So it's coming up.
Just don't.
Saying.
But other than that,
Bump your Constitution fighter boy.
true. Other than that, I'm just here, and I'm gonna move it over to Jessica.
Don't ever fucking call me that again, first of all. I'm gonna once again point at this.
Wow, thanks.
Anytime Nick is a bitch during the game, I'm just gonna point towards this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just get some LEDs so you can just hit a button and make it flash.
Just hear
Don't tempt me, Kevin.
Get a speaker.
I have the power.
Get a speaker.
I am aware.
Do angel noises,
I will just send one and give one to everybody, so when Nick's being a bitch, we can all just have it flash.
Oh, perfect.
We'll have to do a stream overlay of it light up and someone has control over it.
Hello, my name is Jess. Now that we've snowballed into hell, I play Blazing Fire, the Great Jungle Clan, Art, Tabaxi, Celestial Pact Warlock. Wow, I just did a full-on full name.
Full name
You don't get those too often. Yeah.
A portal to hell
I'm just gonna shut up and pass it to Sky.
Hi, I'm Sky. I play Listora, your wood elf sorceress, who just likes to jump from shadow to shadows. So, I'm gonna pass it off to Oliver.
I'm Oliver, and I play Warren Woodbrook, the human inquisitive rogue, who is set to overtake Droomstick in power level very soon. He'll be able to bench press more than me, but I'll be able to do more reps. I think by the end of this is what's going to happen here.
Bold words.
So we're all looking forward to that now. That's me.
All right. And I'm Kevin. I DM this game. I am not in charge. I barely have any input some nights. Things just happen, and I nudge, I guide, I direct. Over the last couple of sessions, our group has been seeking access into the great library of Candlekeep, and they have already acquired a unique book that is almost certainly not in the library's collection to use to gain their entry requirement.
Yay.
The Ecology of the Burbalang. After acquiring that, they booked passage on a ship, Baldur's Gate, city much different than Waterdeep they're familiar with. It is dirty, grimy, overcrowded, riddled with crime. The guards are mercenaries hired to keep the peace more than uphold the law. And that's where we found ourselves last week at a tavern, planning their next steps, when Listara noticed a shadowy assassin moving into position to jump a few Zentarum goons. They weren't anything special at all, and would have certainly died had the group not intervened. After dealing with that in a brief conversation with those guards, took your unconscious Shar captive and headed to the Zentarum Guild Hall, hoping to talk to Captain Tillin. Now, you had, instead of finding Captain Tillin, you found a bureaucrat at the desk and talked to him. You brought up Manshun, who has been linked to these Shar assassins, and that made him a bit nervous. Tried to guide the conversation away from that name, and that's pretty close to where we ended last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. Time has no
Last
meaning.
night.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. We want to keep talking about Manshun, right? I'm just.
The impression you got from the bureaucrat was that the topic of Manshun was something he felt was too dangerous for a open setting such as this. And that's when one of the door behind him opens, and a very military-looking gentleman walks out, armored, sword on belt. He is ready to go. And Drumstick, you're a little bit familiar with Zentarum rank insignia on their mercenary units. He's wearing the appropriate insignia for a captain.
It's Captain Manshun. I mean, it's it's the captain. I'm just gonna kind of quietly just observe and like wait until he kind of talks to see what's going
That's
on.
my job.
What was that?
I said that's my job.
Yeah, but I'm not hiding in the shadows observing. I'm like up front observing.
So he was quite obviously listening from the other side of the door at the previous conversation. He comes in, introduces himself, Tillin. And he then just looks at first to Drumstick and then to Warren. And says, "Do you speak for the group?"
Yeah, not him. I'll do it. Yeah.
Whoa!
Don't worry about him.
Your affiliation with the Zentarum and Waterdeep. Can you explain that to me?
Maybe he'd better talk after all.
Very well.
All right.
And he just kind of like looks up at you, but by looking up, he's not giving any ground on who's in charge of the situation from his point of view.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Explain.
Yes. So we kind of helped them out. We have our contact, our girl Yagra. She's pretty awesome. We kind of helped them out in a little bit of a tussle. And I'm assuming we're still kind of like in an area where Mr. M name shouldn't be named, correct?
He nods.
Okay. Maybe we should kind of take this in somewhere where we're not going to be overheard, if you know what I'm saying.
Very well, if you prefer.
Yeah.
He takes a moment to speak to the bureaucrat, and he calls off for a few other soldiers to escort the captive to someplace more secure. Then he leads you through the door that he emerged from, down a hallway into an office. The office has a large like map table in the center of it, with a map of the Sword Coast region kind of imprinted on the tabletop. In addition to that map printed on the table, there are several other more detailed maps of different regions around Baldur's Gate spread out on top of the table.
Oh wow, this is crazy. This is I'm assuming this is your not to get off subject, but I'm assuming this is kind of your network.
This is our tactical planning center.
Ah, interesting. Okay. I like that.
For our purposes today, it is the large enough room I can secure.
Fair, fair. So I kind of look around.
Well,
oh, sorry.
Now, I'm gonna speak out. I'm gonna say, well, now that we're back here, what does the name Oostelfloxen mean to you?
He's a assassin centered in the Waterdeep area.
And I'm gonna point at Droomstick. This was the guy who was responsible for taking him down.
See.
Oh shit.
Taken down for what?
Wait, I did that?
If I mean, out of character, I'm trying to give you credit here.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Broomstick. Roll insight.
Okay. Oh wait, what am I doing? I have it right here on the screen.
Roll insight. DC 10.
A DC 10?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. 2.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Warren's just wrong.
Warren, what the fuck are you talking about?
If you will excuse me, good sir, he's had more than a few bumps on the head, which is why I preferred to have done the talking.
You're not wrong. He's not wrong.
Droomstick, if you do recall that invasion of the Growlhund Manor, where you busted down the door, charged up the stairs, and confronted Oostelfloxen yourself, I do recall.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I do not believe the man survived that encounter.
No, I jumped off the trolley. That's right, and that was fun. I ran through the streets. Everyone thought I was fucking crazy, but I was just trying to save you guys, you know?
Fine.
It's friendship, you know? Friendship
You
is
were
frantic.
confirming my thoughts on the Waterdeep management style as chaotic and inefficient.
Oh, no, it's
you could
just
say
me.
that.
That's just me. Don't worry about it. I'm the one who's chaotic and inefficient. It's not just everyone else is fine. It's just me.
Valid.
Now, you had mentioned, and how does he relate to Manshoon?
Well, Manshoon was planning on taking over, or was trying to, I guess, take over that branch of your organization. And our contact Yagra, thank God, like she had to go through a brunt of it, which was awful. And like, thank God she's okay. But like, we kind of had to step in and take care of that, but it did confirm that your rumors over here of the rise of Manshoon is happening, that he's trying to gain back that power. Also, the dude's fucking nuts, like, God.
So you've become affiliated with the Waterdeep Zentarum cell.
As far as I recall, yeah.
what proof do you have, what reason do you have to believe Manchun's involved here? Quite honestly, I've heard him attributed to every blunder or bad mistake for the last 10 years.
Hmm.
From
Warren,
here to the Moon Sea, he appears to be everywhere a scapegoat is needed for incompetence.
Warren, can you help me out with this? Because I'm struggling just a slight tad bit. I think maybe.
You're the one with the Zentarum connections, buddy. Listen, all I know is that there was violence on the streets in Waterdeep. Someone had to be behind it, and no offense to Erstafloxen, but that guy wasn't the top of the totem pole. No way.
Very well. Your purpose here in Baldur's Gate. Are you on Zentarum business?
We're on vacation.
Yeah, what he says.
The idea of a vacation just, it's like he has to remember what that is in the same way like you're trying to remember what your high school class schedule was. He's familiar with the topic, but hasn't dealt with it recently.
Don't remind me of those terrible dreams that I've been having.
But you jumped into a thwart an assassination attempt on some of our guild members.
Yes, indeed. Because honestly, one of them was kind of hot. Not gonna lie.
That's pretty much why he did it. Yeah, you know how he is.
He doesn't. He just met
Dramatic sigh.
me.
Everyone can tell how you are, Droomstick.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Takes 5
Fuck,
minutes.
Okay.
To figure
Wow.
you out.
All right.
It's almost as if there is a sorceress walking behind you casting an illusion that says himbo over your head.
Oh my god, yes.
Well, Star, a new job for you.
New job for me. Nice.
Oh my fucking god.
Wherever Timora's hand put you seems to assist the Zentarum. And I'm not going to turn my nose up at good fortune from what you've done. Unless you have need to hire us, we will stay out of your way. I will not be able to make any such claims about the Crimson Fists who run most of the city security. Warren, you're pretty connected to news and events. Crimson Fists are a large mercenary company, and unlike the Zentarum, which spread out over the entire continent, Flaming Fists. I was mixing some 40K in there by mistake. Flaming Fists are a mercenary unit that's centered mostly around Baldur's Gate, and they do the bidding of the four lords that run the city. They're generally brutal thugs more than they are trained mercenaries. They can roll in heavy armor, but they're not built for the battlefield. They're built for alleys and street fighting. So the Crimson Fists are mostly in charge here. Since your Zentarum connections appear to be fairly strong, I would dislike it if you brought any trouble on our operations by tangling with the Fist.
Well, we're not in town to cause trouble. Just taking a little trip. You know, I don't even know how long we're gonna be here.
Is there anything we can do to assist?
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's a hole in the wall of the inn that we stayed in. Just making sure nobody sneaks through that in the middle of the night. No dark elves or anything like that. We have some history.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have any additional information on Manchun, I would appreciate it. It's hard to tell what is fact and fiction with him, but I appreciate the sharing of information.
As far as I know, that's all I can give on my end, or all that I can remember. But if anything does come up, I will let you know. Or do my best to.
So I think this conversation's kind of reached its conclusion. There's not much more to gain there.
And that's it for the game tonight, guys. We'll see you. I'm just kidding.
So he politely escorts you out, offering services as necessary. But that puts you back on the streets of Baldur's Gate, and it's starting to rain.
Perfect.
That's no
Just
fun.
it's one of those cold ocean storm kind of things that rolls in and just makes everything feel 10 degrees cooler than it actually is.
Oh.
Nobody on the streets seems to mind this. They put hoods up and step under awnings and roofs when they can, but it doesn't seem to slow anybody down in the least. The cobblestone streets have that like mud that bubbles up and just kind of slops around a little bit. On the way back to the inn rooms you've secured, and Warren, I know you paid for those inn rooms. Was there anywhere else you wanted to go check in on or do? Did you want to go back to that inn directly?
I mean, Warren personally doesn't have any other business that I can think of here. It's my first time in town. I don't know anywhere else,
Okay.
so
Give me a perception check. Anyone?
Oh. Anyone? All right. Let me take a look.
You want a fucking perception check? You're gonna get a perception check.
Oh.
All right.
13.
oh, I actually get Are we taking a leisurely pace, or are we hurrying back?
That's up to you guys.
It'll
Probably
be leisurely,
leisurely.
because then I'll get advantage on the thing. We're not in a rush.
I got an 8, but my passive is 14.
I got a 22.
Fuck you.
Um, you're being followed. Young boy. He appears to be
Young boy.
when his hood's not in the way. He looks like he's from Karatur, which is far, far to the. It's almost as far to the west as it is to the east.
Now, when you say young boy, are we talking like 18-year-old young boy or 8-year-old young boy?
Closer to like 14 or 15.
Okay.
Kick his head.
That's not too alarming.
Young boy.
He's following when he looks like he's a little bit nervous.
Is he trying to
And
like keep tabs on us, or is he looking for information?
Those are good questions.
Lestara, Blaze, you're the sneaky ones. You want to break off and circle around and follow him, maybe?
Yeah. I want to do that.
Okay. So how do you want to do this?
I'm going to play to my strength. And I'm sure there's random shops we're passing and stuff like that. Just something shiny and random is going to catch my attention and I'm going to go towards it.
Okay, so
I
you
don't
just
know
want to
what it is.
you want to separate yourself from the group, obviously. Okay.
Yeah. But like
Okay.
clearly distracted by something else.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you've got a cover story for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Lestara, what about you? How do you want to do this?
Just kind of vanish in and out, and then I'll just completely vanish and try to go behind him, like follow the shadows behind him.
Okay, so you want to hide the fact that you're trying to hide.
Yes.
Okay. Are you using any of your fun tricks to enhance that? I'll let you review your tricks while we talk to Blaze.
Yes.
Yes.
Roll a deception check. No. Warren,
16.
16, okay. Warren and Droomstick, as you're walking along, you're having some sort of conversation to keep the ruse going, I assume?
Yeah, I'm talking about how I might be able to do more push-ups than him pretty soon.
Oh, fuck you. No, you can't.
Okay. Okay. So you're encouraging Droomstick to get loud?
Yeah. As if he needs encouragement.
Thanks.
Fair though.
Blaze, you find a glassworks shop. Yeah, these are like the kind of like knick-knacky things you would hang to catch sunlight, or those like glass animals to give as gifts and things like that.
Shiny things that catch attention.
Oh, absolutely. You're for a moment there, you're almost distracted from the fact that you're trying to be distracting.
Yeah.
So much so that the shopkeep comes over and starts asking you questions and tries to make a sale.
Pay him double.
I'm literally just gonna like be trying to divide my attention enough that I'm probably slightly more distracted than I should be.
Okay.
And I just hand the shopkeep some money. I'm assuming he just rambles off a price and I hand him money and just like hold my hand out.
Okay.
So whatever you put in my hand, Kevin.
Oh, a wild card.
With that.
Okay. How much money did you hand over, by the way? Like, Blaze may have just like reached into a pocket and pulled out some coins, but what would you like to pick as a number there?
Oh God.
All of it.
I don't actually know.
Okay. Check your finances. We'll get back to you. Remember, you guys are
I don't think finances are extremely a problem.
No, they're not.
No.
Roll a D100 or something.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, dice. Lestara,
No.
you kind of find an area where there's just enough of a curve in the road that you can step out of sight. And I would like you to make a stealth check. This is to see if the man watching, the boy watching you, checks to see if you're, if he sees you separate.
Okay.
Are you gonna do some
I
mitosis in
have
front of him?
+9 for stealth. Okay.
What's that?
I was checking what I had for
Oh.
stealth.
She's checking
I
to
have
see
a
if
crit.
mitosis.
+9
Crit?
is 29.
Oh,
Okay, 29. Okay.
shit.
Wow. Yeah, you vanish. you know that you've been in this state a few times where you're hiding so well, you have to check to see if you're actually visible to yourself or not.
Oh, okay.
But you've leaked through shadows before. You know that can happen. But here you've got the shadows here kind of like wrap around you and give you a good warm hug.
Sweet.
Oh, awkward.
As Drumstick and Warren get farther ahead from you, the boy keeps following them. And he is kind of like head on a swivel just a little bit. He realizes that the group he's following has reduced by half, and he's not sure exactly where things went.
I mean, he knows where I went. I was very obvious.
Right. He's a little bit confused by this. And Lustora, you see him looking everywhere except where you are. What would you like to do with this?
Am I pretty close to him?
You can be. You have control of the situation. You can tell me where you're at.
I want to be like 5 feet away from him and try to see like if he's looking at something. Maybe try to.
So yeah, you slide in behind him, and from that vantage point, you can see that he's like trying to every few steps. So like start to move forward a little bit faster, and then pause and fall back a little bit. Like give me an insight check.
16.
It's almost like he would like to approach Warren and Drumstick, but he's afraid to.
Can I tell if is he well dressed? Does he look?
No. He's dressed like the locals. These clothes have seen rain before. They're well used and worn. They fit him okay, but they were probably off the rack clothes, possibly for someone else first. You wouldn't guess him to be, because he's a local. You wouldn't guess that he's wealthy in any stretch of that. Poverty is everywhere in Baldur's Gate.
Wait. So, how far back from he is? He from Drumstick and Warren.
60 to 90 feet.
Oh, okay. Is he saying anything, or is he just?
He's alone. He's not talking to anyone.
Let's see, what do I got to play with?
So while you're considering that, Blaze,
Hi.
the clerk spends a moment packaging whatever it was you agreed to buy,
I don't know what it is.
and it ends up in a small wooden box, a little over a foot long, maybe 5 inches wide. And he hands that to you, thanking you severely. Like this is, it's like this is the gold, literally a gold mine for him. As you told me, you handed over 630 gold pieces to him.
Yeah, I just kind of rolled a number and added a 0 to it because I was like, she's not gonna give a shit. She's just gonna hand money.
Yeah, and that's exactly like you're looking one direction. You're handing over this large bag of coins. That's roughly 20 pounds of gold.
Fuck! Fuck! That was in your pocket? Fuck! Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, how strong is your clothing?
I mean, we all have traveling packs, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Fuck.
Big strong adventurers can carry some coin. So yeah, he hands that box over, thanking you for your purchase. He appears to be a little bit nervous holding this much money at one point right now.
Awkward.
There's gonna be a slight moment when I realize I've handed him this much money and like wait
and that's-
for him to go back inside before I leave. In case anybody tries anything. Like just looking at the size of the box in my hand, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do?
Are you curious enough to open the box?
How far away from me have they gotten at this point?
They're a few. Let's say about 40 to 50 feet down the street. So the kid you're watching is closer to you than he is to them, and you're closer to him than you are to your friends.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
And I'm gonna wait and kind of refocus, but still be like glancing down at the box every once in a while, being like,
What the fuck?
no, I have
Okay.
to focus. What is it?
Oh my god.
Perfect. So yeah, Lestara, you can see Blaze being distracted from her distraction mission, holding something that she didn't have 2 minutes ago. You may be on your own for this one. It's hard to say. Would you like to approach the kid?
I want to hold off on a bit. I want us
You
to
wanna-
make sure that he's not hostile. He doesn't look hostile right now, but
You can't see any weapons on him. How he's dressed, he could be hiding maybe a knife. But in your estimation, street kid with a knife would not be much of a threat to two seasoned fighters like Warren and Drumstick.
Well, she gets him in the gut.
Do we have to
So-
adopt this kid? I don't want more child baggage, damn it.
so let's say that if I popped my head out at the kid, will Blaze see it or no? Like, is she within eye shot or earshot? I should say.
She can, yeah. She's on the street right now, distracted by this box in her hands, and you can see her head dart from herself to Drumstick and Warren, back to the box, back, try to find where the kid moved to. She's not at her best right now.
No. I done goofed myself.
I done goofed myself.
The kid's gonna start walking faster,
Okay.
trying to close the distance to the group.
Quick, take out his knees.
Alright, I'm gonna slowly reveal myself to this kid, slowly become more visible.
You just want to step out in front of him as he's walking.
Yeah, and be like, hey!
Looming.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, stop.
So yeah, you step out and he jumps. He has no idea what you're talking about, or where you came from. That was not part of his plan. I should have put a little bit more thought into his dialogue before we started this.
Oh no.
He just kind of gives one of those holy shits. Okay. You're new in Baldur's Gate, right? I can help you. I can help you find things in Baldur's Gate. I can help you.
Why do you think we need help?
You're not from around here.
So?
Baldur's Gate's not safe for strangers.
But why are you following us like a creeper?
Because I needed to find out if you guys were creepy.
Fair.
Valid.
Valid point. Okay.
Valid.
that.
One thing that you know that's unusual about him is, he's obviously got the olive skin character style complexion. He has no. His accent though is 100% Baldur's Gate,
Okay.
which I'm not going to try to replicate because I'm bad at that and I don't want to try tonight.
Fair.
Let's play with an Ouija board.
Look,
So,
we got off on the wrong foot here. And kind of panic a little bit. I offer guide services. I can help you avoid the bad places and find any of the places you need, and I can be very helpful.
what do you want in return?
Paid?
Paid.
Simple monetary transaction. We like those.
All right. Do you want to meet my comrades, or you just want to hang back here forever?
Well, I was going to talk to them when you jumped out. So you walk right past Blaze, who stepped away from the camera,
Okay.
and bring this kid up to Drumstick and Warren. So yeah, and now that you can get a good look at him, he's a street kid. He's local. He's
Street.
yeah, kind of.
Scoundrel. Take that.
Don't mind him. He has a fascination for musicals.
Wow.
Distraction because it just is so damn relevant. Earlier today, it popped up on Twitter that, and I'm not sure if this is satire or a joke or real, but allegedly, someone was complaining that they should change Les Miserables because it is hate speech against landlords. I wish this sort of thing had the Onion attached to it, so it'd be very clear that this is not a real human being. But
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Oh my god.
Okay, all right, back to Baldur's Gate. So Lestora brings this kid up. I can help you find things.
Interesting. Okay. What is it that you think we're looking for?
Well, I don't know. You're not from town. That's kind of my thing. I help people from out of town find things in town, and I'm helpful. That's my business plan.
I don't know if he's gonna throw us in a moat or something. It's kind of sketchy to me.
I mean, that's not great for business. I have found that best practices. When I'm helpful, I get a tip or a gratuity at the end of my service. That's not required, but it's my goal. So giving good service is part of the plan.
He seems harmless enough. I don't think we plan to be in town overly long. This is kind of just a pit stop on our longer journey. Are there regular caravans or whatever else for people traveling in the direction of, say, Candlekeep, or how would one get passage there?
Candlekeep's not far. Day and a half if the weather's bad. But what you really want to watch out for there, the books that they use for their entrance, extremely valuable. A lot of people are looking for them here in Baldur's Gate. So if you don't have one, I can help you find one. I know a couple of guys. Get you real legit books, not copied crap that isn't going to get you in. The real stuff.
How do you know it's real?
I trust my guy to know his business. My business is finding people and guiding them. His business is knowing books. He's a book guy.
Okay. Well, I'll have you know that I am writing an extremely valuable memoir of our journeys as the
Jesus
heroes of
fucking
Waterdeep
Christ,
that
Boris.
will likely get us in. However, we would be interested in hearing about any other offers that are available right now. Books.
Difficult question to ask, but I have to ask it. These books tend to range in big price tags, large sums of money. Are you willing to pay for these books?
This is the point where I walk over with my foot-long box looking confused.
Guys, I made an oopsie.
I made a walkie-walkie.
I have to go in the forever box now.
I think they call this an impulse purchase.
We were planning to purchase the book. Blaze, I'm sure you still have our funds. Our book purchasing funds.
You carry the money, right?
I didn't bring most of it with us.
My fucking god, this is beautiful.
I've got about 400 gold left on me. Everything else is back in the bank at home.
It's fine.
I think we can work with that. Are you ready to go there now? We can go there now.
Well, I suppose we've got nothing better to do.
Let's follow this child.
He introduces himself as Darius Lynn.
That's a lame name. I'm just
Face
kidding.
is a lame name.
I'm assuming that doesn't immediately have any sort of significance.
Not exactly. Culturally, the first and last names don't match. Darius is a Favoronian Sword Coast name. Lynn would be a Karaturan family name. You're thinking this is the kind of scenario where he might be second or third generation immigrant kind of scenario. So he takes you like on a 90-degree turn from the direction you were going. Away from the docks towards the hill where the lords have all of their high security and heavy walls. Something else to note about Baldur's Gate. You've been through a few of these, but every time you go from one section of the city to another, there's a gate with a toll.
Jesus.
Now, the tolls are pocket change compared to the amount of money you're carrying around, so they weren't truly an inconvenience for you. But you can see that these tolls make it really hard for citizens to commute from one district to the other frequently. From rumors and storyline, news stories, this is a hot topic of debate in Baldur's Gate on whether these fees are too high, etc. So when you're going, as you go with Darius, do you pay his toll or see?
Pay his toll.
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's be friendly adults in this situation.
Blaze.
Yes.
How's that box?
Burning a hole in my arm right now out of my sheer curiosity, but we're in the middle of going somewhere and I don't want to be rude and just stop.
I'm gonna lean over and be like, so Blaze,
We're just
what?
eyeing it.
Yeah, what's the deal here?
I don't know. I just handed the guy some money,
And you didn't
and then he
go home?
handed me this. I don't know what's in it.
Is it dangerous?
No, I don't think so.
How would you know?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna fucking open it. I'm scared.
So-
What?
Do you peek? Do you throw the lid open?
I'm gonna take a peek first.
Do you
Okay.
throw it on the ground violently? Like...
No, because it's probably fucking glass.
Whatever's inside it is packaged solidly, so it's not moving around. When you open the box up, you don't see glass at first. You see a metal cylinder. And it's got a couple like bands around it where one cylinder fits inside another.
Did Kevin give me a bomb?
So are you carrying around contraband?
Am I carrying around a pipe bomb or something?
A pipe bomb?
Oh, Jesus.
Would you like?
Moment.
Yeah.
I think
What you have in your hands? What would you like to do with it?
Open it more.
Okay.
Is it a glass
So yeah,
testing
once
ball?
you open it the rest of the way, it's very clearly what that is. It's like 3 cylinders, one smaller than the next, to connect it together. There are like brass fittings where the cylinders change size. There's a glass at either end of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is it called? Is this what I think it is?
A nesting
I can't think
doll?
of.
I don't know. What do you think it is?
I can't think of what it's fucking called, Kevin. Jesus fucking Christ! Can I make an
Would you like to
intelligence
make
check?
How about an investigation?
Yes. Oh, I have a -1. It's a 2. I'm dumb. I really don't know what I bought.
Yeah, like you take it out of the box and like the cylinders move. Like they're not hard connected. They slide and twist.
I'm just gonna look expectantly at Warren.
That's a good thing you got there. Does it telescope out, or is it like...
It does, in fact, telescope out just a little bit. It like doubles in length if you fully extend it. So it ends up being about 2 feet long.
Maybe I should have been watching Blaze instead of this kid.
Well, I can only assume it's for hitting people with.
I think you might be wrong.
Would you like to investigate it, Warren?
I'll investigate it, yeah. Okay, I'm a little bit better at this. +10.
I hope you're a little bit better than my -1.
+10, although I only rolled a 3, so 13.
It is far too delicate to use as a bludgeoning object.
Yeah, I figured when there was glass on it. Although,
Yeah.
One-time thing, that would hurt.
Now, as you pick it up and look at it, you kind of look down it, and it is a spyglass. A rough telescope is what it is.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay. Blaze, when we were on the ship,
Yes.
you remember those people went up into the crow's nest and it would look really far away? This is one of those things that
Oh,
they
the
used.
napping spot. Yes.
Right. Well, when it wasn't being used for napping, they would take this thing up here. Probably great for when the stars come out. Don't use it on the sun. A little bit too bright even for you.
I'm gonna glance upwards and nod. Oh, yeah.
It's cloudy, so the sun is not available right now.
I'm
but
still gonna glance upwards
it
as
would
though
be-
debating.
yeah. It would be particularly bad to use it during an eclipse, but that might be too soon.
Oh, Kevin! Kevin! Kevin. That was mean.
So yeah, you got that at a fairly fair price. You did not overpay for it too much.
Good.
But that's something worth adding to your character sheet because it is a usable item.
I don't want to manage spells.
You have a lot of stuff in your character sheet. I noticed that when I was glancing at things earlier.
Yeah. Things. I still had that fucking bag of beans.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
I just feel like I've never had an opportunity to use the bag of beans.
Have you been looking for the opportunity?
No, because I forgot about them for a long time, to be fair.
Would you like to create an opportunity?
Bag of beans.
Right now, can I use freaking one of these?
You got that key last session too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot to bring the key up in my review. So yeah, you have a spyglass. I don't know if there's exact mechanics for it in 5th edition, but should you use it, we'll figure something.
Objects viewed through the spyglass are magnified twice their size.
There you go. So Darius takes you through 2 of these different gates to end up at a street that's on a fairly steep hill. The water's rushing down this pretty quickly. Has the advantage of not having many puddles because of that. And there's a large, low building. Does not have a second story like most of the buildings in Baldur's Gate do. Tiled roof. Kind of makes it stand out as being different than the buildings around it. And he takes you right up to the front doors. Double doors at the front, pillars on either side. And he knocks on the door. This is the place where my guy's at. He'll help you out. Not long after that, door opens up. Guy behind that opens up the door is an older Caraturan man. Long mustache and beard to go with it. Yo, it's Darius. There's a look of disappointment on his face. Darius is like, hey, why are you treating me like this? These are my new friends. This is Warren, Droomstick, Blaze, and the quiet one.
Yes.
Scary one.
I guess it's better than the scary one.
It's canon.
They're looking for a book to get into Candlekeep. So I thought of you. Can you help my new friends out? The old man looks at you guys like, so have you brought money? Can we have a transaction here, or are we just on a... This is a social call.
Blaze has money. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I have money.
Plenty of money.
Fuck.
Well, then come inside. There's a small area up front where there's tables, places to hang coats, etc. Beyond that is, it's fair to describe it as a library. 4 or 5 rows of bookcases coming out from the back wall. So there's many books here. Were you looking for something specific? You're muted.
Ma'am?
You were.
Touch anything?
Oh,
That's weird.
oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably be a little bit too lucky to ask you if you had anything on, I don't know, devilish contracts, anything like that. If not, we're looking for something that a bunch of Candlekeep wizards would like.
They're a picky lot. I have a small selection of books that may pass their entrance requirement. On the topic of devils, those books are not displayed here, but I do have some information. Maybe if I knew more about what you were looking for, I could sort you in the right direction.
People tend to sell their souls to devils, as you do sometimes.
Wow, alright, way to fucking start it that way.
Droomstick. We're not talking about anyone in particular here.
Okay.
It's a hypothetical.
Uh-huh.
If someone were to do that, we're just looking for the way they would get out of it.
That in the fiction section, there's quite a lot of that. As far as real confirmed information, things get a bit sketchy. I have some books that deal with the language of infernal contract. The words and verbiage and what means what, a lawyer's point of view, if you will.
Okay, that does sound like a good start.
Beyond that, everything else would be a religious text. And I normally don't. It's hard to I am losing track of the word I'm looking for here. Authenticate books of this nature. Many of them are extremely old. So in some cases, the gods they reference are no longer gods.
That's awkward.
Yeah. Especially awkward when, well, it's every edition change, get some new gods.
Fair.
In the case of infernal contracts specifically, it would depend on who the contract would be made with. If it's a devil of importance, I would not see them giving up a soul they already owned easily. Lauren, give me an insight check.
Okay. Cheat. That's finally a good roll today. What is my insight? Oh, I'm good at that too. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. He seems to be edging around the fact that he's an expert on the topic.
Let's say it was one of the big guys. Let's say maybe one of the biggest.
One of the dukes. Ooh. I would say that whoever's in that situation is rightfully and truly screwed.
I just kind of like tense up and I kind of sit. I just sit on the floor. That's all I do.
Well, let's be hypothetical here.
Okay.
If it was one of the big guys, I don't know, like the big A, I mean, there's surely some sort of way to. How would we get a hold of this contract if the person who made it doesn't actually have a copy? That would be a good place to start, I think.
Oh. Now, that fascinating question. There are two competing theories on the topic. One is that the best place to get that information is the Grand Hall of Records in Sigil.
Ah, yes, we have.
Allegedly, the Grand Hall has a notarized copy of all planar contracts, infernal, celestial, or otherwise. Now, option number 2 resides with the Yugoloths of Gehenna.
Sounds more dangerous.
They are. They almost certainly have the records of such things. For reasons known only to those around since the dawn of the universe, the multiverse. They record every transaction they are a part of. And unconfirmed reports are that they also do provide this service for infernal beings.
Okay.
The theory goes that devils can't even trust other devils, so they need a third party.
That was going to be my next question. In contract dispute, where would one normally get arbitration on these sorts of issues?
I don't know if that's ever occurred. You would need. It would almost certainly need to be someone higher on the infernal ranking than who you're dealing with. And if we are talking about the Big A, and I appreciate you not using his name aloud.
I mentioned the Big B one time, and they didn't really like that. So yeah,
3 of them.
it was a bad one. That's you know.
They're not like, I actually think there are 3 dukes that start with their name with a B. You wouldn't have anyone to appeal to if this hypothetical contract is in fact with the Big A. Now,
well, he's still bound by contracts, regardless of being in the top, though. Correct?
oh, absolutely. Devils, by their nature, are creatures of absolute law. The idea of lying in a contract would be abhorrent to devils.
So, despite the fact that there's no one over him, there would have to be somebody he would be willing to appeal to for arbitration. I just assume that's got to be baked into the system somehow.
The question there would be if they consider this an internal matter, would they accept external arbitration?
Well, you said that one of the places where all these records end up is the city of Sigil.
Yes.
Which I'm not an expert, never been. That does sound kind of like neutral ground. doesn't it? How do the contracts make their way there? There must be some sort of correlation.
Sigil, by definition, is neutral ground. And the Grand Hall of Records falls under the purview of Primus. He sees the look of not quite sure who Primus is on your face. And I'm not talking about the fantastic live band.
They could help us out.
They would. Primus is the Big A's equivalent in the power structure of Mechanus. Mechanus being the outer plane focused on the concept of true law with no preference for good or evil. Pure law and absolute logic. Quite different from the Primus who plays music.
So if someone were looking for a way to neutrally arbitrate a contract to the Big A, would you agree that that might be a good place to look for that kind of service?
It would be on my list of places to check, and probably near the top of the list.
That's certainly an interesting idea. We will probably want to purchase a copy of that Infernal Legalese book you mentioned earlier. I think we might need it eventually.
I'll create a title for that book because I think it deserves one. We can do that. Give me a moment. I have an arcane process that will copy a mundane text. Before we do that, though, we should discuss price. And in these scenarios, it's appropriate for the purchaser to make an opening offer.
Blaze?
You're buying it, not me.
I don't know anything about I don't know what a book is worth.
And I do? I'm
Wait,
fairly sure you'd know more about books than me.
how much?
Something I should mention. Most of your funds are in a bank in Waterdeep, and you could easily access those funds to make a purchase here without having to have cash on hand. So don't let that be part of your thought
My
process.
personal funds are actually still kind of low because I bankrolled the whole Resurrection Diamond and stuff like that. So.
Oh, right.
Cool. So we're gonna
However much money, I don't know how much books are worth.
put it on my Visa, man.
Put it on my Visa. Yeah, Droomstick should be the one paying for it.
Do you take Discover?
How much? So, okay, hold on. So the Infernal Legalese book is not. We're talking about two separate books for the Legalese book and the Candlekeep Access book. I assume.
Well, yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. What would be, let's say, 500 gold a book?
For the legal text, I will accept that. Entrance into Candlekeep, however, is far more valuable. We haven't discussed that yet.
Okay. Can I make a quick insight roll just to try to determine how much I undershot what he was expecting for the Candlekeep book with 500?
Yeah, go for it.
21.
Not close. The collection of books he has right here is impressive. It dwarfs the bookworm down the street from your place several times over.
Right.
And discussing infernal contracts with him while he seemed to be an expert on that topic, you don't get the opinion that that's the only PhD level conversation he could have.
Mm-hmm.
So, short of Candlekeep itself, this is by far the biggest collection of knowledge you've run into. For perspective reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 500 for the book is agreeable. We can set up a payment for that. I can still afford that. Droomstick, Blaze,
What?
Lastara.
Mm-hmm.
You guys wanna, do some haggling here? I've
Is
only
it
got so
fine?
much money, guys. All right, I
I
can't
mean, we can
bankroll
give
the
you whatever
entire.
you
Wait,
No,
hold on.
we can
Are-
give you what you need, but I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. You're the
I
one
will
who's
give
good
you
at this.
time to discuss while I make the copy of your Infernal book.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you very much, good sir.
So he steps away, which is a good customer service technique to let people argue while you don't need to listen to them.
I mean, bro, are you trying to use your own personal funds, or are you trying to like?
We had to get the diamond from somewhere, Droomstick. Where do you think it came? It didn't just magic itself out of thin air. Someone had to buy it. That's all I'm saying.
But but what's it called? The shop still has money, right? Or not the shop, but the wait.
The
Okay,
finances for the cafe,
I'm so
which you
confused.
would all know, is turning a small weekly profit. So every week you earn money, but not a large sum of it. It's more than enough to keep up maintenance for the house and all of those things, and would build its own nest egg by, retirement type era. But for a large sum of money like this, no, you haven't quite earned the 500 gold pieces for the book you've already bought through cafeing.
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 Yeah.
I will conjugate anything, damn it.
Man, how much are you thinking about offering?
500 was definitely a low ball.
Double it.
Double it. Oh my god, are you?
I don't even know if doubling it is going to do it. If you could each pitch in 500, maybe 1500 would tempt him.
I mean, I think I have 500 on me. Let me just double check.
I mean, Kevin said it wasn't necessarily an issue whether or not we actually had it on us.
Because I don't have 500 on me, but I've got, with that payment, I've been keeping track of my finances. I've got 1940 left in the bank. It's a Warren thing to do. I got my little
No. I'm just
little
looking
accounting
that
book.
Warren and Blaze have the correct amount of funds on their character sheet. Droomstick and Lastara do not.
I just didn't. Okay, well, it was never discussed how much I actually had on me.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
I did update it though, so I think I should have the right.
I believe your split from the Dragon Horde was 10,000 each.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, awkward. Fuck.
Money is not really excessively an issue. So we could the three of us could do 5 easy each. It'd be fine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm down to
Just
what's
20
on my character sheet is what I physically brought with me.
So
So
20,000
it's whatever my bank account plus that is what I have left.
All right, cool. So we're offering 20,000 then. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
1,500.
start with 15. See what he feels about that. I don't know. We'll see.
If
We'll see.
not, we sell Lastara. Oh wait, no, we can sell Ophelia.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. So the old man comes back, and we're just gonna call. The old man comes back. And in his hands is a thick leather-bound book with a buckle over it.
Ooh.
The buckle has a lock attached to it, and it's a large, 14 by 10-inch, big, thick book,
Oh,
about 3 inches thick. And he brings it up. It's like, this is the tome we have discussed. Due to the nature of its content, the lock is included in the price.
Thank you. You are generous.
Now, we were discussing another tome.
Yes, something that could get us into Candlekeep. Now, I realize that you can't guarantee that they will accept it because, of course, you're not in charge of that. That's not really something you can control. But we need something that can get as close to your guarantee as possible to get us in there.
You are quite right. I cannot make a guarantee on things like that. But I have a system
Okay,
through
that sounds a little bit suspect, but continue.
through various planar travel magics. I have a selection of books that are not of this world.
Okay.
Which dramatically increases the likelihood that they are not in Candlekeep's collection.
Fair enough.
Now, the titles and topics on the books, quite honestly, for this purpose, don't matter. You're using it for entry. So, I can offer you one of those books. We just need to discuss the price.
Well, you will have to forgive us. None of us are particularly up on the blue book price of interplanar literature. I don't know
Then-
if there's a list somewhere, but we have
Then
not seen it.
perhaps you should consider what would the cost of access to the largest single source of information on this world. Because that's what you're buying.
Well, what would I mean, obviously 500 was too low. What would you say to tripling that, 1500?
I think I have something that will. I have something that should work that I can part with for that value.
Okay. Are you saying that because there is a book that would be more likely to get us in, or it is simply not interesting enough for you to care about?
I have a few books which I personally think would guarantee access. As a businessman, I cannot make an actual guarantee on that. Since we've discussed infernal contracts, I feel I should be clear on things. But I would rate them as a nearly guaranteed success. I have a few other books that, where they're from, I believe them to be common tone. But because they're not from here, there's a good chance. For 1500, I can offer you a good.
What about for 2500?
We're speaking in imprecise terms here, but for 2500, I can increase that to a really good chance.
I'm gonna turn a drumstick.
What do you
Drumstick? How do you feel about a really good chance?
Oh my god, this is really fucking sucky. I didn't realize I had this much money on me.
Oh yeah, that time we found a literal mountain of gold
Yeah,
and
shit.
got to keep some of it.
Oh yeah, I went from having 7 gold to 1,007 gold.
Add a 0.
Yeah, he's like
10,000.
Oh, wait, we have that much money? Oh, fuck it. Like,
Yes,
oh,
we do.
shit. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, let's go for it. 2,500? Hell yeah, that's like a Sorry, that was like
So he's paying for it all himself now.
no. Oh. All right. Well,
I mean, it is your
It-
soul.
Yeah, there's that.
thanks.
We
Do you
did pay
accept
for you to come back to life.
do you accept platinum?
I did.
You accept platinum?
You can, if you functionally, you can write a check that would be cashed with the Bank of Waterdeep, and will give you no problems on transactions of this size.
I can buy a Subaru. All right. So is 2,500? You said.
Would be a
For
pretty
really
good chance.
All right. I'll go for it then.
Okay. It takes a few minutes to handle the transaction here to make sure everything's in place for a sum that large. Once he's got his ducks in a row and everything is happy, he goes into a back room and comes out with a small book. It is maybe 7 or 8 inches tall, 3 or 4 inches wide, an inch thick. It is a small book. On the front of it, there is a image of some type of cratered sphere with some type of cylindrical object racing across the front of it. Then there's some words in a language you can't quite understand on that cover. Those same words are repeated on the spine. The back, whole bunch of text in this odd language.
Are they orc?
You've never seen characters and words in this language before. You have no reference for it.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I thought I saw like I had like other languages, but that's my other character. Never mind.
I think Blaze has comprehend languages if you're that curious.
That can be later.
Okay,
Story time on the way to Candlekeep.
sure. So with that, the transaction concludes. And we're going to wrap up here very, very soon because I've had a short night requested by several.
Mhm.
But what's the passive perceptions around the table? Who's got the highest there?
I assume Warren.
Minus
Probably.
14, but yeah, probably.
My passive perception is 21.
Oh, fuck me. All right,
So-
yeah, that's
Damn. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I knew it was good. I didn't realize it was amazing.
It's gotten even better since we hit the dungeon, yeah.
Yeah.
Nervous laughter.
Mhm.
Jesus Christ.
There's been a large insect flying around the room. You didn't notice as anything unusual at first until you realized that it was flying in repeating a pattern. And then when you notice it's worth paying attention to, you see that it's got like these red markings on it that are familiar. You have seen an insect like this once before. When you met the wizard Vielle in Waterdeep, and she kind of sold you out with a couple of stories in gossip magazines.
Mhm.
The wizard attached to this familiar who has been observing you.
I'm just gonna casually ask. I don't know the etiquette on that. Is it considered rude to smash a wizard's familiar?
What?
I would think that rude.
That I'm not sure if I don't know if Warren would have that reference. It would be aggressive at the least.
Okay. I'll make a grab for the familiar. Not trying to smash it, but I'll make a
Okay.
grab for it.
All right. Give me an attack roll, and we'll end the session right there.
Okay. What am I rolling for this attack roll?
Make it as if it was a weapon attack.
Okay. Hey, that's a +7? It's a 23.
You have this bee in your hand, and you can hear it buzzing. You can close your fist around it and have it. It's not going anywhere unless something unexpected happens. And that's
I'm
where
sure
we'll end the
something
session.
will. Okay.
Oh shit.
So, yep, short session tonight, so some people can get to late shifts or early shifts. This was fun tonight. I didn't know if we were going to have a combat encounter tonight or not. But here we are. You now have not one, not two, but 3 chances to enter Candlekeep once you include Warren's memoir.
It's the one that's definitely going to do
Oh,
it.
that's
I'm
right.
not
You're
worried.
still writing that thing.
Yeah.
And just because I don't want to forget this, Blaze, later tonight when you use comprehend languages on this book, the title on the front of the book will be Old Man's War from John Scalzi.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be back next week. Sunday I'll run my Curse of the Azure Bonds game where they're approaching the village of Hap and a whole bunch of angry drow warriors.
Yay.
Then Monday we'll be back here. Fridays are currently in a point of transition. We will talk more about that when we know more about that. So from there, let's go to the floating box that is Nick's face.
Hi, I am a floating box, and my name is Nick. You can find me at BlueAura94YT on Twitter. Everywhere else is BlueAura94. I've
You
been
need to
quiet.
fix that.
Fix it.
I'll fix it eventually when I'm not tired and disassociating. Um, yeah, it's a weird time, so that's pretty much it. But stay tuned for more information on the Friday games. That information may be released maybe end of month, so we'll see. Other than that, you know what? I'm gonna move it over to let's switch it up and go to Oliver.
I am not anywhere except for our Discord, which is down below somewhere there. Wherever you are seeing this, either live or on video somewhere, it's down there. Or so
On
they
video
tell me.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Catch
They
us
go on
VHS.
YouTube. Yeah, when these VHS tapes are circulated after the great apocalypse.
Wow, are we good enough to be on VHS?
Yeah.
I mean, once the world ends, they're not going to have anything
We're
else
not
but us to
DVD
watch.
quality.
So.
We're VHS quality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's when you know we're legit.
Right. And even then, you will somewhere be able to find our Discord link etched on the tape somewhere.
I'm not sure if that Discord link is still valid because Discord.
I'm
It's
pretty
not,
sure I
and
set it
everyone
up
has
with
lied to me.
K1.
Okay.
That never expires. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, it still works. Okay.
Okay, good. Then
Carpe
yeah,
Nerdus,
that's
the blending of Nick.
Yeah.
that's where you can find me. That's the only place. And I will pass it off to, I don't know, someone else.
There's 2 other people.
You gotta pick somebody.
Jess, go. If you're pointing at the sign, I don't know.
You can find me at Sweet Mind Tales on Twitter and Instagram. I'm the one who gets to go to work tonight. Hey, after I work today. It's a thing. Yeah. I cosplay shit. That's what I'm working on. I posted a bunch of shit on Twitter while I was at work this morning because, you know, that's what you do when you're at work.
I saw that while I was at work this morning.
I know. You liked it while you were at work. Anyways, that is all I have to say for tonight. I'm going to pass it off to Sky.
Hi, I'm Sky.
Hi.
Find me on Twitter at FizzleWhistle.
Can we?
Any other social media, it's FizzleWhistle. Just currently stuck at home, working through
Fuck you.
the nonsense.
Let us appreciate those who can and do stay at home.
Yes.
I'm not
If
one
you
of those
go out for
people.
nonsense,
I'm jealous.
hit you.
I
Mhm.
want to stay home.
It is the only thing I want right now.
I want mac and cheese, but it's too late to make that. But other
Fuck,
than
Nick,
that,
eat mac and
Nick.
cheese.
Nick,
Mac and cheese.
shut it down.
I know.
Shut it down
Good
and go
night,
get your mac and
everyone.
fucking cheese.
Good night.
Have a good one.
night.